Indian history 1905 to 1910 under Lord Minto. These were the main incidents during the tenure of Lord Minto. In 1905, Lord Minto II was appointed as Viceroy of India. 1906, partition of Bengal came into force. Anti-partition movement which led to Swadeshi and boycott and dissolution of SURATH. 1906, foundation of Muslim League. 1907, SURATH split. 1909, Morley Minto reforms. Partition of Bengal and anti-partition movement. Lord Minto was appointed as Viceroy of India in 1905 and partition of Bengal came into force which led to Swadeshi and boycott movement. These have been discussed in previous video. And resolution of SURATH was adopted in Calcutta session of 1906 under the leadership of Dadabhai Naoroji. And INC accepted SURATH as the goal. And here the INC was compelled by extremists to adopt resolution of SURATH. Next, about ideological basis of moderates and extremists. Moderates have a narrow social base which includes Zamindars and upper middle class, and they were inspired by Western liberal thought. They never aimed to end British rule. Instead, their aim was more constitutional and administrative reform, such as more Indian in the administration. Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale were the important moderate leaders. Extremists have wide social base which include middle class and lower class people. They believed in mass movement. Extremists had no faith in British government and they wanted to end British rule. Extremist leaders were inspired by Indian history such as Hindu heritage. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, Aurobindo Ghosh were the important leaders. Bal Pal Lal Ghosh, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, Aurobindo Ghosh were the important extremist leaders. Moderates have narrow social base and they include Zamindars and upper middle class. Extremists, wider social base, middle class and lower class. Moderates were inspired by Western liberal thoughts and extremists were inspired by Indian history such as Hindu heritage. Moderates never intend to end British rule. Their aim was constitutional and administrative reform. Otherwise, the demand of extremists was SURATH and they wanted to end British rule. Dadabhai Naoroji and Gopal Krishna Gokhale were important moderate leaders. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal and Aurobindo Ghosh were the important extremist leaders. SURATH split in 1907. The difference between moderates and extremists widened during the Swadeshi movement. Extremists wanted to extend the boycott movement in entire India, but moderates didn't accept this. There's also different opinion about the SURATH, whether it mean self-government by the Indian people or obtaining self-governing British colonies. In 1906, in Calcutta session, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal wanted Aurobindo Ghosh as the president. But finally, Dadabhai Naoroji was chosen, but extremists formed a pressure group. The growing difference entered into SURATH split in 1907. In 1907, extremists wanted Lala Lajpat Rai as president, but Rash Bihari Bose was chosen as the president. Moderates were majority and extremists were suspended. Extremists wanted Lala Lajpat Rai as president, but Raj Bihari Bose was chosen as the president and extremists were suspended. Moderates formed a convention committee for a new constitution for Indian National Congress, which prevented entry of the extremists. It was ratified in its Madras session in 1908. The difference between moderate and extremists during the Swadeshi movement entered in Surath split in 1907. Foundation of Muslim League in 1906. Muslim League was set up in 1906 under the leadership of Aga Khan. The name All India Muslim League was proposed by Sir Aga Khan, who was appointed its first president. It demanded special safeguard to its community and a separate electorate for Muslims. Indian Council Act 1909 and Communal Representation. This act is also called as Morley-Minto Reform. Lord Minto was the Viceroy and Morley was the Secretary. The Act introduced separate electorate for Muslims. That means only Muslim community members were given the voting right. That means other community hadn't any voting right. That means seats in the legislative bodies were reserved based on religion. It is also called as communal representation. Lord Minto was called as the father of communal electorate.